I've learned a lot from you. I've learned a lot from you, and I love the way you present it. Before I start, I do want to. I did see this post just now go up from the Department of Homeland Security. Good morning, Minneapolis.
I was just looking at that.
Oh, the internet. Oh, the internet. Thanks for coming on. Can you say? I want to take a stab at your last name. Gautereaux.
Go. Yes, but there's E. Go. So it's Gautereaux.
Gautereaux. Am I saying it right? Cory Gautereaux.
Gautereaux. Yep. Or
Gautereaux. All right.
Goat. That's where goat comes from.
Goat. All right. Okay. I just thought it was the greatest of all time. I just always just go.
Depends who I'm talking to.
Right.
Or get them one at a time.
Oh, I like that too. You're in California with me.
Yep.
You're in California. I'm up in the north. I'm in Santa Cruz, and you're down in the south.
So you're the 925.
No, that's the producer of the show. He's in Livermore.
God, I lived in Livermore for a little bit.
That's Matt. Were you working at the lab?
No, I was working at the golf course.
Oh, okay. Because and you were in the military, correct?
Yeah.
Okay, I thought maybe you did something over the lab. And you're the founder of the Goat Initiative.
Yep.
Can you tell me about the Goat Initiative? How it started and what it is?
Is that me beeping?
I don't hear anything, so maybe.
Do not disturb. Okay. So this was something that I didn't want to do. I still don't want to do. I'd like to be with my family and kids and business, wife. But I saw a huge gap. There's a huge intelligence gap on the border, and we have effectively lost the intel gathering solutions from the locals. I'm one of the locals, so I know it firsthand. So I talked to where I live in the rural San Diego. I'm like an hour east of the city, where the neighbors all help each other and the roads wash out and you'll see everybody out there in the rain, that kind of neighborhood. So we all talk to each other and everybody's trying to figure out what the hell's going on during the Biden administration. And then I started getting this intel, and then I have a gun store down in El Cajon, and I'm a law enforcement dealer. So then all the law enforcement guys are telling me what's going on and giving me intel. So I figured, all right, well, somebody's got to take this stuff and do something with it.
And that's what you've done. That's the Goat Initiative.
That's it. So we are branded as an anti-child trafficking organization, which we are, but there's much more to it than that. We are working with Washington on certain tasks and objectives. We have written many executive orders that we don't put our name on it. We don't put TGI's name on it. We write them. I have a retired Air Force colonel on my team, and excuse me, he worked in the Pentagon for a very long time. And so we will write these things and send them to everyone we know. Say, look, we don't need credit. Just use all of it. Use some of it. Do something, please. We maintain the relationships with the locals. So this is one of the big problems. During the Biden administration, there would be thousands of illegals out here in camps, and then on people's property. Then buses would come pick them up, and then these people who are scared for their life now drive into town to go get their groceries the next day, and they see the buses dropping people off in town. So they don't trust the feds, and I don't blame them, because neither do I. But they do trust us because we're the neighbor.
Yeah.
So we found a niche in about 1 billion different spots at this point.
And how long has it been around? When was the finding of the Goat Initiative?
So we've been doing this for about 3 years now. TGI is only, I think, a little over a year old.
And your background, you served in the military?
I was in the Army. And then I got out. I was a crew chief and a door gunner on a Black Hawk helicopter. Then got out, worked in the oil fields for a little bit in North Dakota. Then used my GI Bill and became a respiratory therapist. Worked in pediatrics for a while, and then ER, and then trauma.
Hey, were you a respiratory therapist in 2020? Oh boy.
Yeah.
Oh boy. Oh boy. That could be a whole nother show. Pace yourself, Sevy. Pace yourself. So let's just go there. Is the border? Are people crossing the border? I heard you give a distinction yesterday that made me think, oh wow, I didn't read the small print. Can you tell me, are people coming across the border illegally into the United States?
Yes. Yes.
And why is my dear beloved Trump telling me that that no one is coming over the border? Or is that my fault? I'm not listening clearly.
It's everyone's fault. So you turn the news on, or you look at the tweets and stuff, and they'll say the border's closed. 0% of releases into the United States. They'll say that sometimes, but what does that mean to you?
You're asking me?
Yeah.
Well, I know because I've cheated because I listened to you. I knew that the problem with the Biden administration was that they were catching people and then releasing them in the state and giving them a court date 3 years later, and then these people just vanished into the interior.
Yeah, and some of those court dates ended up being up to 8 years later.
8 years, crazy.
So it's very confusing because I've called out the DHS page 1,000 times now. Like, look, things are way better. We don't need to exaggerate, just tell the truth. Because if we don't tell the truth about people still crossing, then who the hell is going to want to pay for a wall? If everything's great, why you don't need more of my money? You don't need a bigger border patrol. You don't need more intel, more people from the intel community at the border. Everything's great. And we're telling people that, and it's just not true. There's still many miles, probably close to about 15 miles of no wall in the San Diego County. You could drive a truck across.
Literally, you can, and no one and no one will stop you.
Now, because we have a lot more people out there, the Marines are out there, the Army's out there, you'll probably get stopped now. But a year ago, you could literally drive a truck across. But they're still catching side-by-sides, quads, dirt bikes, Jeeps, ultralights. Those Pongas are still coming through. So the confusion is they will say, the government, lots of people will say, and then other people will repeat it is part of the problem. 0% into the United States. Well, that's not 0% of people came into the United States. That's 0% of people who came into the United States illegally, not through a port of entry, were not released into the United States after we caught them. Which,
okay,
I don't know why that's a good statistic. None of them should be released.
I know it's bizarre that ever happened. I don't know how anyone does the mental gymnastics to get past that. So before, people would cross the border, and they would get released, and it became so absurd that we saw the footage like from Jorge Ventura where they would actually help them across the border, check them in, and then release them. And what you're saying is that 0 number just means that all the people they're catching now, they're pushing back across the border. They're not releasing them. They're not talking about the people who are still actually crossing the border.
Correct. If you go to DHS's website, it shows the numbers on there. The people still crossing the border.
Okay, so so they're not hiding it. They're just not being explicit and clear when they say 0.
But here's my concern, besides all of the other concerns I already listed. Is President Trump truly believing that people are coming into the country? Because one of the other ways that we cut through bureaucracy with TGI, if you're an agent on the ground and you find a Russian passport, how long will it take for you to get this to Washington? Well, it's never going to happen. Never going to happen in a million years. But I could just call Washington or Joint Terrorism Task Force or, right? So, and I've talked, I'm not going to name any names, but I've talked to leadership within Border Patrol in San Diego, and they've told me Yeah, the stuff we're telling doesn't even leave. The stuff we're sending up doesn't even get out of San Diego.
So say that again.
It's driving me insane.
Yeah. Did I hear you say that you think that 25,000 people are still coming into the country illegally every year or every month?
No,
No, not that much.
no, no, I don't think so. I don't.
What do you think the number is? Sorry that I threw that out there. I thought I heard you say that. What do you think the number is that are still coming across illegally, unspotted? By unspotted, I mean, I know you guys are spotting them. Let me change that to unapprehended. How many people do you think just slide across the border every month?
That's a very difficult number to quantify because we're just one little tiny area of the border, right?
Mm-hmm.
I would every month across the whole southern border, I would say probably undetected. You said,
yeah, or even detected, but just not apprehended. Because I know you're detecting people that aren't getting apprehended with all your cameras and whatnot.
I would say that we're still probably in the thousands.
Thousands, yeah. And would you say it's concerning that those people are especially the ones to be concerned about because they're still crying? Those might be the most nefarious because they're still trying to cross even with this massive campaign to stop the crossings.
So what happened with a lot of these people? They spent their life savings or they were tasked from some country to come here, and they were in the middle of their trip when Trump got into office and then quickly shut everything down. You're not going to go back if you are some African family from Ethiopia. You spent all your money. You were in the Darien Gap and going through the jungle, and you found out that everything's closing up. You're still going to come. So there are still the family stragglers that they have no other choice, like get a free ride home or stay in Mexico. But then you have the real bad guys that are still coming through. We have sources on the south side as well. What's very interesting is there's a Muslim right across in Tijuana, like a block away from the border, basically. There's basically a Muslim NGO that houses these people and clothes and feeds them until they're ready to cross. And it's still there.
That is scary.
Can you hit the layers thing on your map there, bottom left?
Okay.
And then go to the right. Keep going. I'll show you one of the big. Okay, zoom in up. See where South Bay Rod and Gun Club is? Start to zoom in towards that way. Top.
Oh, okay. At the border or just in that
just
no man's land?
Okay. Now go south. Now zoom in. This whole area, there's no wall.
Oh, wow.
So now just follow the border east. Show you one of the big crossing points.
Is that a road up there, the squiggly line I see?
Yep, that's where a lot of our cameras are. Okay, zoom in right where on the right side of the screen, there's where the road goes up and there's like a turnout kind of thing.
This?
Yep. Now, yep, keep zooming in to the left of the turnout. You can just follow that trail south.
Oh, wow. The path is worn.
Zoom in more. It's insane.
Oh, my goodness.
This is where we saw hundreds of thousands of people come through.
And this looks like a staging station where all these footmarks are, all this entire worn area?
Yeah, some of the U.S. NGOs would have water and food and everything just staged right there.
Wow.
Your viewers can find that spot and just follow it south. They just keep going south. It goes to the highway, and then it goes into like a ghetto, basically.
And do people live down here? Are there people who have homes here and there's illegal aliens stomping through their yards?
Not not in that area, but further east, yes.
That's the part I don't. That's the part I wish every person who's not for the closing of the border would have to live down there for a year. I had a friend who lived near the border in Texas, and they said it's absolutely terrifying every other morning waking up and seeing people walking through your property and you don't recognize them.
Yeah.
And you're out in the middle of nowhere.
And since you and I live in the great state of California, we don't have help from, since it's rural, it's the sheriff out here. We don't have help from the sheriff because of sanctuary city policies. So good luck trying to get a hold of the Border Patrol if you don't have their personal phone numbers. Like you call 911, it doesn't go to the Border Patrol.
And they're not coming to do anything.
I don't want to say that. They will come when they can and when they want to.
There's some people judging you on your appearance. This dude's beard is on point. Fair enough.
Thank
All
you.
right. There, and another Cory. I'm glad this dude spells his first name correctly. All right, here you go.
Me too. I can't stand people with an E. I just don't like them.
He doesn't get credit for that. His parents get credit for that. He doesn't get. That's exactly what I was wondering. That was one of my questions for you. Does the president actually know? Does the president, is someone conveying to the president and to Kristi Noem that, hey, people are still coming across? And then are most people still walking across? What about back in the day? Tunnels were a big thing, Cory. I'd always hear that was kind of like the big news stories. Tunnels, that was the exciting news story.
Tunnels are still all over the place. They're very hard to detect. They're usually on the Otay side, so closer in towards where the city is. We have some information from some people. Let me figure out how to say this appropriately. There are Middle Eastern people who are freely going between the U.S. and Mexico via a tunnel somewhere.
And when you say Middle Eastern, you mean Muslim people?
Think more than that.
Wow. Okay. Well, in my mind, just so you know, when I hear Muslim, and radical Muslim, I think it's redundant. For me, from what I know about their scripture, they have some serious rules, and just your average everyday Muslim's pretty radical to me.
Mm-hmm.
Wow. Okay. And those are things that the Goshen Initiative knows, and you are trying to make sure that information is collected, curated, analyzed, and pushed up to people who can actually do something about it.
Correct.
Have the resources to do something about it.
Correct. So let's go back to Kristi and what you were saying a minute ago.
Please.
Everyone is so compartmentalized. And there's so much bureaucracy, as we know. So let's say I have something. Let's say this passport, this Russian passport, we figure out that it's involved in child trafficking and narcotics. Okay. There are not enough people, and I will never be an advocate for more government. So I haven't figured out a solution for this yet, but there are not enough people to work with or to look into things like this, because if I give this to the narcotics guys, they only care about the narcotics. I'm sure they go home or they're driving and they're thinking about the child trafficking. That's not their job. So they don't do that part. If I give it to the child trafficking guys, they don't give a shit about the narcotics. So that is one of the biggest issues that we have. I have to curate this stuff and then get it to the correct people where I know that they may have a buddy somewhere on the other side of the operation where they can try to work together. And it almost never happens. This is what these task forces are for. But right now, people from all of the different task forces are out rounding up people and trying to get them deported, which I don't have a problem with, but we are overlooking very bad people in our country.
there's a story you've told on several podcasts, which is fascinating, that you found a phone, you turned the phone on. I don't know how you got into the phone. That part kind of made me curious also. You got into the phone and you were able to access a Telegram chat that had 10,000 members in it. And you could see the comms of all the illegals networking together in order to come across the border. Can you tell me about that? How you found that phone and how you got into it? And
yeah, at one point that chat had 30,000 members.
wow.
Now there's about 5,000. But so this is the first phone we ever found. Right at the end of where the wall stops in one section in San Diego, it literally just stops. And then it's right on P. Diddy's old security guard's property where the wall stops, coincidentally enough, which we can get into. These people just walk around. I mean, you literally just walk. It'd be like if you had a fence on your house, but the fence didn't have 4 sides to it.
Yeah.
You just walk around it. So we were out there picking this stuff up. I mean, and there were passports, ID cards everywhere. And I'm like, there's a phone. And then, after a while, we figured out that most of these people had 2 phones. They were ditching the one they didn't want anybody to see, and then they were taking their new sanitized phone into the country. So I got it, brought it home. I wasn't really thinking of OPSEC or safety at the time. This was very early on, and I plugged it in. It was dead, so I plugged it in, let it charge for a little bit, and then I was looking at the phone and trying to look at the smudges on the screen to figure out what the password was, and it didn't work. So then I Googled what's the common password when you get a new phone, and it's 123456.
Wow.
So the guy never changed the password. 123456, and that got us into more crap than I ever wanted to be in.
Really? That's what kind of opened the floodgates? In that one phone alone, there was a lifetime supply of leads to chase.
It's still going. Yeah. Like we're in over 200 different chats now because of that one phone that are still active today. I mean, we're talking hundreds of thousands of photos and tens of thousands of videos, murder, child trafficking, narcotics, Chinese. Somehow, and like I said, I own a gun store, so I don't understand how this works. But somehow, Chinese nationals buying guns in the country. This is a big one, and I wish someone would do a story on this. A bit like Nick Shirley would do a story on this. Have you ever ordered DoorDash or Uber Eats or anything?
My wife does that. I don't do that, but my wife does that.
And then it'll say the driver is Cory Gautereaux, and then you get some dude from Uganda who shows up at your house.
Yeah.
Uber and DoorDash know that that's a problem. They tried to crack down on it a little bit, but it didn't really work. In these chats, we found instructions for how to find someone who will lease their DoorDash or Uber, even regular driving Uber account. So if I'm the account holder and you come to me and ask if you could work with me, and I'll say, yeah, I'll give you $5 for each delivery. And now you don't have a driver's license and you don't have insurance and your car never would have been approved. But now you're doing that and we're both making money, but I get to sit at home.
So, wow. So I deliver DoorDash and I have 20 illegals working for me and I make $20 on every delivery. I give you 10, I keep 10, I sit at home, but I have 20 guys working for me under my legal account. Holy shit.
And that shouldn't be that hard to figure out. Like they know it's happening.
Holy shit. Wow. That reminds me of the scandal that broke in and I'm guessing, is that illegal to contract out your DoorDash account? I wonder if that's illegal even.
It's illegal on many different ways because they're using I'm not gonna say all of them, but most of them don't have a driver's license. And they don't have insurance, and then the vehicle with some beater vehicle that shouldn't be on the road anyway. So they're gonna, eventually they're gonna kill somebody driving, and then I hope that Uber and DoorDash and all the rest, they just get sued into oblivion, because that's the only way that this stuff's gonna change, if you start messing with people's money.
I don't know if you heard the story, but in Washington State, you could apply to be a daycare, and then you could watch your sister's kids, and your sister could apply for a daycare, and she could watch your kids, and then you could both collect money. And I'm thinking, yeah, that's a scam, but it doesn't sound illegal. It just sounds like the law was written by someone who's hoping people scam it.
Yes,
It's a way to steal money from the government legally.
yes, but then you can't even call it stealing, right?
Right, right.
It's so the entire invasion happened that exact way, where it wasn't illegal what they did. So these people, and we have instructions on what to say when they came across what they were supposed to say, how they were supposed to claim asylum, the forms, everything. There are your tax dollars, my tax dollars went to NGOs who helped get into this country, and NGOs including law firms. We have names of all these places, but it would be very difficult to go after them, because they came in through an asylum claim, which is not illegal. Now, people will say, yeah, you can only claim asylum if you come through a port of entry, and I agree. That's what you're supposed to do. So there's a big gray area there, because they didn't come through a port of entry. They came through the damn desert and mountains and showed up in my backyard. But then when they got here, they claimed asylum. They all have the same stories. A lot of them have the same addresses that they use. So it should be fairly simple to go into the database of all these people, the ones that we did put in, and say, do a query and look, and if there's 1,000 people that use the same address, well, deport all of those people. It doesn't work like that. So
wait, so I'd never heard this either. So you're telling me that even though the Biden administration had a catch and release policy, they had blurred the line. Those people, you can't actually do catch and release unless they come through a port of entry?
Technically, yes.
So all those people are illegal, even though, wow.
Well, they also, so this is something that I'm working with Washington on. If you, and I know some of the stuff.
By the way, just really quick, that's even more proof. That's like the nail in the coffin, or it was a conspiracy for an invasion on the country.
Well,
that's like a vital component of being compassionate. Well, at least you got to come through our port of country. You can't sneak in. We'll let everyone come in, but you got to come in through this line.
I don't think there's a conspiracy. I think there's just black and white at this point.
I don't mean conspiracy in the sense that the way it's generally used. I mean that the government was conspiring with
working together.
Yeah, working together. Yeah.
Okay, so that's one of the things I'm working with Washington on. Let's say you are a Venezuelan national and you decide to come here your family's being persecuted in Venezuela. So you come here with your family, cross the border illegally, not through a port of entry, you claim asylum. Great. And then we give you a plane ticket, a bus ticket, and send you wherever you want to go, which is what happened. But you use the CBP1 app to start start the process when you're in Mexico, and you fill out all these things on CBP1. Then you get into the country, but maybe you left out the part where you are a permanent resident in Mexico. Well, that's fraud. So if you were a permanent resident in Mexico, we would have denied your claim, because we would say, great, that sounds great. The Venezuela doesn't like you. Stay in Mexico. But they left that part out because they left their Mexican permanent residency ID in the mountains that I now have.
Right.
So if I have it and they lied on there, we can find them and deport
them. Do you have a lot of people's IDs and documents? Have you collected a lot of them?
Tens of thousands.
Wow. To the point where you needed to like rent a space to store them. That's how much you have.
I was building well, I store them off-site now, but I was building a barn just to have all my stuff in, and that ended up being, this is part of my barn actually, that ended up being this whole operation.
How do you fund this operation?
Myself, a couple of the guys have helped with a ton of money. I made the nonprofit, which I didn't really want to do because I didn't want to deal with it, because people told me, hey, you should make a nonprofit, and then we could help you. And then those people disappeared after I did that. So we get donations. The monthly ones they're so nice because we have things like the Starlink. So there's anything with a subscription. It's just that's very helpful. $20 a month, or $5 a month. And then fuel is a big expense. So between me and my VP, we've spent over $150,000 the last 3 years on this.
Wow. You guys sell shirts or anything like that?
Kind of, sort of. They sell out quickly, but it's just doing this stuff is more than a full-time job. So
right.
I just don't have the bandwidth to do the extra stuff.
Right. You need. When this is everyone. By the way, if you're watching this show, everyone should send either Tommy G or Nick Shirley, a link to this guy's account. Tommy G, I don't know if you know who that is. He has a massive YouTube channel with like 10 million subscribers or something like crazy like that. And he does documentaries and they kill on YouTube. And you're right up his alley. I think he's crossed the border before with coyotes. But this needs to be shown. The very delicate subject here. The kids that go missing. How bad is that? Because I feel like I'm in denial. Because I hear the number, there's 300,000 missing kids in the United States, and that have come across the border. And I think, oh, that can't fucking be true. I would see them. And so and I'm like, where are these kids? They're probably with their aunts and uncles. They're probably fine. And then you hear these I'll hear the stories that there's like one house where 40 kids have been adopted by, and it was by someone who's an illegal who would rape someone. But then the story never goes further. I never see the people. How bad is the kid thing?
It's horrible. And it's a very good thing you never see them, because that means you're not going these places where the kids are. So I would be worried if you were, at massage parlors or illegal marijuana grows, but a year, maybe 2 years ago, a Hyundai subsidiary in Georgia was busted for child labor. So people don't want to believe it.
Let me push back on that real quick. So, and I apologize, but so these kids come across, they're hungry, they're looking for a place to work, and this Hyundai manufacturing plant will hire them, so they're making money so they can make ends meet. Illegal, maybe, yes, but bad.
Yes, because it's not as simple as that.
Okay.
They were sent here, they were brought here specifically to work as slaves, not that they're out on the streets under a bridge trying to make ends meet.
Okay.
So there's many different ways that they get here. The Flores loophole could you pull that
Sure,
up?
yeah, I'd love to.
Okay. The Flores loophole is one of and if anyone hasn't read, if you want to read a book on this, how this started, Todd Bensman, I can't remember the name of the book, but Todd Bensman is like the expert on how this started and the whole invasion. So they call it the Flores Settlement Agreement, but it's the Flores loophole. So what the cartel and China and everybody else figured out was, if a kid came across, they had to release the kid within 20 days to a family member, but they had no way of knowing who the family member is. So they come across and they've got a little booklet with a name and address on it, phone number. And this is my Tio. Okay, well, the kid's black and the Tio is a Mexican dude, right?
Right.
Which we saw many times, hundreds of times. And we even saw kids that spoke different languages than the people they were with.
And they would claim those are my parents or my
Yep.
aunts and uncles. Wow.
Yep. We saw kids that were drugged so they wouldn't be able to talk. They were just lethargic.
Oh boy.
So this Flores loophole, what they figured out was they can't keep them for more than 20 days. And then when things started happening so quickly, we're getting tens of thousands of people per day pouring over the border. They just had to release these kids to unvetted sponsors, which everyone knows. I mean, it's been talked about. Tim Tebow talked about it. Tara Rodas was a whistleblower about this. RFK has talked about this. We sent these kids with unvetted sponsors all throughout the country. And the number was 300 something thousand, but these numbers are low, in my opinion. Just like the Gautereaux and this stuff, the numbers are all low. So what happened to the kids is they were brought into these different, like the labor trafficking or the sex trafficking. You know, if you're 14, 15, 16-year-old girl, 17-year-old girl, she's probably giving massages at a Chinese massage parlor somewhere. And then they move them around, let's say LA. They'll move them around the city to different massage parlors so they can't get to know anybody long enough. And they're making, I'm just making up a number, $100 a day, but their rent is $110 a day. So they're slaves.
And you suspect there's thousands and thousands of these?
Yes. I mean, you
are there hotbeds for them? Are there cities that are hotbeds for them?
Yes.
What are the cities that are the hotbeds?
Well, for China, the interesting part is anywhere next to a military base, you'll find a Chinese restaurant and, you know, a massage parlor. That's an easy way to get information.
Wow, fascinating. It's funny. I do see Chinese massage parlors around my town, and I live in a pretty sleepy town.
Well, if you're bored one day, I'm going to say this on your show. There's a I don't know if it's an app. I think it's a website called Rub Maps, RUB.
Uh-huh.
Then you can see where you can go get that done. And I bet it's all over your town.
And that's just public?
Yep. There are not enough people to go after these nefarious actors.
Oh yeah, right away I see one that's just the first thing that comes up is a TikTok that shows one that's 30 minutes from my house.
So there's not enough people to go after the bad guys, and then
wow, Yelp has the top 10 best rub maps in Oakland. Oh my goodness.
It's right there in front of our faces every day and we never see it. And I haven't figured this out yet. Is it because we don't want to see it?
All the windows are blacked out in every single massage parlor I've ever seen. And the signs look like they're from when I've traveled in the third world. Like the storefronts are kind of, you know, shoddy. Yep. It's like, it doesn't look like a place you'd go for a massage.
We had one right next to my gun store that we got run out of there, thankfully.
And so that's a place where a lot of the kids are working.
That's one place. Restaurants it's another big one, and another big one are the illegal marijuana grows. There was, I don't know if you remember, maybe 6 months ago or so, I think it was in California, they did a bust on an illegal grow, and there was a bunch of kids working there.
Jorge Ventura, do you know who that is? Jorge, Jorge did a whole documentary on all the illegal pot farms that are on people's private lands in California, and that just basically they can't be stopped. There's just too many of them. The cartels they showed that they would go in and bust it, tear it down, and then Jorge would visit 2 days later, and they would just put it right back up, and they didn't give a shit. And all the people working there were Hmong. Is that a Chinese person? A Hmong?
Hmong, yeah, something like that. So yeah, I've been out to the border with Jorge many times. I've been to the border. Nick Shirley's been to the house.
Oh, wow. Oh, okay.
Here, I'll name drop some people for you.
Please.
I took Tulsi Gabbard to the border for 2 full days. She saw everything.
Wow.
It was great, but it was horrible, right? But it was great for her to see. Joe Kent, the head of the NCTC National Counterterrorism Center, I took him to the border. Matt Gaetz, Sheriff Lamb.
Wow.
Sheriff Lamb's my favorite. I mean, I've been on. I feel like
Shirley. Did Nick Shirley do a video with you?
It's on my Instagram somewhere.
Okay.
I feel like I'm screaming the British are coming, but nobody's up getting up out of bed.
Yeah.
And it's not the British; it's the Chinese.
That's how. Would you tell me about that? Why the Chinese? Why so many Chinese? How many Chinese?
So we just wrote a paper about this. The numbers that the government are putting out for, so there are things called special interest aliens. Special interest aliens are people from countries that they don't like us or we don't like them, basically. So if you are an illegal alien from one of these countries, you are a special interest alien, which requires more vetting. So if
you go to secondary, like during the Obama administration, or during when Bin Laden bombed the Trade Center and I had a beard, I always went to secondary. I was special interest.
Exactly. So you go into secondary and they're figuring out, hey, why are you here? What are you doing? And then you went on a special list that went out to all of the different agencies so we could track you, kind of. From there, China wasn't put on the special interest alien list until far into the invasion. Like, it went on for 4 years, basically. So towards the end of the last year, China wasn't even on the SIA list. So we have a ton of Nepalese passports that are Chinese people. But they didn't come here and tell us that they were Chinese. They told us they were from Nepal. So what these Chinese people would do is they would drop their passports. Some of them are burned, some are discarded. I have passports from every one of those countries, multiple. Okay, not North Korea. I don't have a North Korean one.
China, Iran, Russia, Cuba, Venezuela, North Korea, Eritrea, Nicaragua, Pakistan, Saudi Arabia, Tajikistan, and Turkmenistan. Oh, wow.
We could talk for days about this because you have these African countries. There are god-awful African warlords who have just murdered and mutilated people from some of these African countries that are probably your neighbor now.
It's that pervasive.
Yes. So that's one of the worries from Washington, or what warlords are in the country that we're going to figure it out someday, maybe. But the Chinese thing's horrible, especially in San Diego, where we have all this critical infrastructure, and California in general.
You saw the warlord in Maine who took $28 million and went back to $28 million opening up healthcare centers or something. I think he was also on the city board, city council, and this story broke last month, and now he's a warlord in Somalia.
I feel like I'm doing something wrong. Like I'm in the wrong business.
It's great. The stories that are coming out now are crazy.
I'm paying with my own money and time to try and secure our country while I'm watching these people take my tax dollars. It just doesn't make sense anymore.
When all the healthcare fraud stuff broke. Oh, and I this morning you said you were well aware of it, but this morning I also sent you this. I thought this was kind of ironic. This is going back to P. Diddy's and Michael Jackson's head of security, who has a place you mentioned on the border where the fence goes right up to. Fahim Mohammed, Diddy's head of security, who was named in a lawsuit alongside Diddy last year and owns land at the San Diego border. He also has a Leering Center registered to 10344 Southwestern Avenue in Los Angeles. And then you go look at it, and it's a hardwood flooring store.
So I was at a canine narcotics convention. This was before I met Melissa. Melissa's great, by the way. And I had this information. The reason I got this information is because I use a hunting app. It's called OnX, and it tells you the landowners. So, if if you're going on private land or public land. I was just looking at the border properties, and then I saw this name. I don't remember what it was. She might have put it on there. It's an LLC or something. I started looking into it, and then I go to this conference in LA. Well, I had the Chinese phone with me because I had that at that point, and it had an address in there. I got very bored of this conference very quickly, and I've got a gun. I'll just go to the address and see if anybody's there. Maybe shouldn't have done that, but it was in San Gabriel. So I drive up, and I kind of drive around a couple times. There's a no soliciting sign on the wall. It's like a townhome community. I don't know. There's probably 6 of them in there, and the sign on the wall is in Mandarin. It says no soliciting in Mandarin. Well, that's weird. And then as I'm looking around, I'm like, it's like everyone in this whole area is Chinese. So then I parked the truck, walked back to the house that this guy's phone was on, or the address was in his phone. And as I'm walking up the top of the garage door where the windows are, they had curtains on them. All of the curtains were closed on the windows of the whole house. There were like 20 pairs of shoes in front of the door, Amazon boxes everywhere. And there were a bunch of cameras and a motion sensor at the door. So now what am I going to do? I don't really have a good plan. So I knocked on the door, and then it sounded like rats just scurrying around inside there. And then I held the guy's phone up, and I said, "Hey, I have his phone. I think you lost it. I want to return it." They didn't answer the door. I don't know why. I think I'm friendly enough. So that didn't work. But then, like, you know what? I'm going to go to this I didn't know it was P. Diddy at the time. I'm going to go to this, the tax address on this property down the road. It's like, went down there and knock on the door. Nobody answers the door. This was in a neighborhood that I definitely stuck out in. There was a Ring doorbell. So I hit the doorbell. I started walking back to the truck, and somebody answers it. And I said, "Hey, what's up?" Like, "Hey." I said, "Hey, I'm up here for a conference, and I saw this was the tax address for this property that I live by. Are you aware of all the trash everywhere?" And they said, "Yeah." It's okay. I just was wondering if I could get permission to go down there with my trailer and some friends and pick up the trash. It was everywhere. And he goes, "No, we're good." I said, "Okay. Are you sure? I just want to pick up the trash. I can, I'll sign a waiver or something. It's getting into the waterways." And he goes, "No, we're good. We're sending somebody out there," and then hangs up. So
wow.
That's when I started looking into that place more, and then quickly found out that it was P. Diddy's former bodyguard, or former head of security, and he was very young. He was like 21. It didn't make sense for him to be a head of security, but he was the last person in the room when Michael Jackson died. So this shit doesn't make sense at all anymore.
And no one's looking into that either, probably.
No, man. I don't know.
I do DoorDash full time, says George. I think these companies know illegals are delivering food, but look the other way because they don't have to pay them as much. Yeah.
They know. They tried to implement a policy at one point to counter it. I don't remember what it was or when it was, but I looked it up at one point.
What about this other thing that I hear about all the time that I also can't get my head wrapped around, organ harvesting? Is that a real thing?
Yes.
Can you go into, I know it sounds pretty obvious what it is, but what is organ harvesting?
So a good resource for your viewers, my written testimony when I testified in Congress, if you just Google my name and put congressional testimony, I hit on all of this stuff. So when you testify in Congress, you get to do the oral testimony. You get 5 minutes, which is not enough time to talk about any of this stuff. But then you also get to write. You can write a book. There's no limit. So I go into more detail on all this stuff. But we know of a kid that, excuse me. So sometimes what will happen is people will, let's say you're from Central America and you pay your first portion to come across into the country, and then you can't pay your second portion. Well, I mean, your eyeball might pay for the second portion. So we know of a kid that was in Tijuana, and they took his eyeball to harvest it, give it to somebody else. So they will do that for, if you can't pay your bill, but then it becomes way more nefarious, like the umbilical cord stuff from mothers, or getting stem cells from mothers on the street.
You're saying aborting their baby, taking their babies from them.
Yes.
Cutting the babies out so you could get whatever the elements are inside of a baby that are valuable on the illegal health market.
Yes, and I know it just sounds so insane, and
it sounds so insane. It sounds so insane.
I still have a hard time with this one, just because it's so crazy. But we have two people.
Is there? So that means there's to do something like that. That means there must be like a network for that, like a real, like it's these aren't one-offs. This is like an organized, reoccurring thing. Hey, if you see a pregnant woman crossing the border, let's approach her and get her.
Yes. So Katerina, I just took her out to the border. Katerina, I can't pronounce her last name. Sculz. That is a great one for your viewers to watch, because she's a great person to follow. She hits on this stuff and she knows way more about it than I do. But we do have two people on our team, Jared and Allie. They're in Florida, and they have been tracking. They can speak to the organ harvesting way better than I can. I don't really see any of that here in so that middle one right there, that's us. Yep, down one.
With the passports. This is you went out with her?
Yep.
So sorry, what were you saying? There's people on your team who are more sort of the specialists in that
area? So they will go down to and visit prisons in Guatemala, Colombia, a couple other places, and they will talk to organ harvesters and organ traffickers, and they will get information, and then they'll pass it off to me, and we will try to figure out where this stuff's happening in San Diego. It's more prevalent than anyone knows. It's never talked about. At one point, we were tracking. I'm not going to say the location, but where a lot of this stuff occurs are in Mexico, or veterinary clinics, because the vets have the know-how to get this stuff out of human bodies. So we were tracking flights from New York down to a part of Mexico a couple times a month, and then these same people were going to a veterinary clinic a couple times a month.
Wow. And who's buying them? Are they? Is it who like who's the consumer of this? Are these American citizens?
Yes.
My husband busts these massage parlors all the time. He uses the app Rub Maps and then goes in and sees if there's no insurance, then busts the trafficking. Lots of different task forces involved. Wow.
And it's so thank your husband. But it's so difficult. It's just like the dispensaries, which it seems like it's calmed down lately, but they will bust a dispensary and then it would show up the next day, like we talked about, across the street.
Yeah.
So it's the same kind of thing. They do, a 6-month, year-long investigation to bust to the rest of the country. They're busted a massage parlor. They spend all this money to bust one thing, or people giving hand jobs to people. Like, who cares, right?
Right.
It's way worse than that. And we can't think about this. It's an entire network, and we're funding the CCP, the cartels, terrorism. from a hand job. Yes.
Great question, Palmetto. This makes no sense when Trump said we need 600,000 Chinese for our universities when we've recently arrested 2 Chinese professors for smuggling biological materials. No thanks. So those are, I'm guessing those are the things you're trying to reconcile in your brain too. Like, hey, dude, we're grabbing all these people, we're seeing all these illegals at the border, and now you're inviting 600,000 more in. Like,
makes no sense to me. We don't need any Chinese nationals here as far as I'm concerned. If you're a Chinese national, you don't just get to leave China for fun. That's not how it works. You have to have permission, and you're not getting permission to come to Disneyland. There's a reason that you're here. Let me bring this part up because it just popped in my head, and it is massive. It drives me insane. So because I was a respiratory therapist, I have contacts still in the hospital, in the NICU, well, everywhere, but the NICU. Okay, let me back up. Regular hospital, I have contacts in. So they were telling me that when people were coming in, Border Patrol was so busy at the time. So if the medics, if you called 911 out in the desert or the mountains, the ambulance would go pick you up, take you to the hospital, and then they would AMA and walk out of the hospital and be scot-free with the free ride. So against medical advice, they just walk out of the hospital. They were never seen. It was fake. And we spent millions of dollars, tax dollars, with our ambulances, bringing these people into our country. But when that happens, if let's say I roll my tractor or something happens here on my ranch and I need 911, well, they might not be there because they might be out at the border.
right.
And then the next CAL FIRE station has to send an ambulance, which may be 45 minutes away.
Right.
So that drives me insane. But this is way worse. The NICU girls that I'm friends with, if there's a sick, or there are sick NICU babies that need to stay there for a period of time before they can be sent back home, there are Chinese babies in the NICU that never have visitors. They're just there, and we are keeping them alive, trying to, which of course I think we should do. But there's a massive problem with birthright citizenship and surrogacy. So 2 Chinese nationals will have an American surrogate. So hold the baby,
Grow it. You American citizen, grow this baby in your stomach. Here's the sperm and the egg. Here's the.
Yep. Get a ton of money. So now the baby's born. Now the baby has an American passport. But this baby is a tool. It's not a baby. It's not a child. It's disgusting. So
Are they going to end that? Sorry, we'll come back to that. Keep going with your story. Sorry.
So then let's say they're preemie or whatever. So they're in the NICU. These parents they're not real parents. So they don't care. They're not visiting the baby. They're not there trying to care for it. As soon as they can, they get this baby with the American passport and go back to China. And then it becomes a baby of the Chinese government that now has an American passport and a Chinese passport and can come back here in 18 years, 20 years, go to college here. And we have no idea that we've been getting infiltrated for years doing this.
Basically taken back to China, brainwashed to become a super special agent and sent back.
Yep.
Like some sort of movie.
And that's the hard part about all this stuff, because it sounds
and run for president of the United States.
Yes. He's born in the U.S.
Yep.
And when I say this stuff, it just sounds so absolutely insane, like a movie, like you said. So, but I've seen all of it.
Yeah. Once you scratch the surface also and see what's happening in our education system, in our schools, you see that they've been working at this for a long, long time. A long time. Someone in here was asking if they could get a new penis. No, you cannot buy a harvested penis.
I don't know if you want a Chinese one.
Good point. There's a story, a really scary story you tell about down there. I don't know if it was in Coronado, but it was on government military housing, and there was a Guatemalan illegal there who raped a 5-year-old girl who was a daughter of a Navy SEAL. Can you tell that story? And did that guy get out? Was he released? You said the feds were trying to grab him and California wouldn't hand him over.
Yes. And that's just how it works here. If ICE lodges, it's called lodging a detainer. That means, so let's say we're in Arizona, and an illegal alien does something stupid. The feds will lodge a detainer and then come pick him up from jail. And now he's federal property, more or less, right? The feds deal with them, and they'll deport them 99% of the time.
Or charge him? Do they charge him also if it's a
charge them, and then then they'll go to jail or prison, and then when they get out, they get deported.
Okay.
In California, because of SB 54, the sanctuary state, sanctuary city laws, we do not work with federal authorities on anything immigration related. So when ICE lodges a detainer, San Diego County Sheriff says, "Sounds good, man. Yeah, not going to happen." And then ICE does it. They know that it's not going to go through, but they do it every time to CYA, which was very smart on this case, because now it just looks like San Diego Sheriff is bad. But are they really bad? Because that's the law, and we voted for the people who made the law. So it's very shitty is what it is. So because of that, San Diego County said no. Then ICE lodged another detainer. They said no again. Then I said, okay, well, we're going to come talk to him. We want to request an interview. Then they allowed that. When they went in, they went through this guy's phone, and then they had to call ICAC, Internet Crimes Against Children, because of all of the child porn on this dude's phone, including his own family members.
Oh, boy.
So at that point, ICE concluded their investigation, and they can't do anything because San Diego County is going to try him. Now, the reason that no one has heard of this story is because when you do a FOIA request with the sheriff's department or with the county on this, they can legally not release the immigration status of anyone who's in jail because of SB 54. So all of our, I did it anyway, all of our FOIA requests, of course, got denied. And so then what do you do from there? When he goes to trial, no juror will know that he's an illegal alien. I don't think that's a fair trial.
Wow.
Because you don't know all the facts. So he will get tried as he's an American citizen, because apparently if they know he's an illegal alien, it taints the jury.
How does it taint the jury?
It makes no sense to me. So then he'll get however many years. Let's just say he gets 10 years, right? And then
do you know what's crazy really quick? I typed in Guatemalan man rapes Navy SEAL's daughter, and I can't find anything on it, but I found another Guatemalan man just in the month of December who raped a little kid illegal. It's crazy. I found there's another Guatemalan man who raped a girl.
Type in Jose, and the last name is Confessor, CONFE. I think it's FESOR. That's it. That's the dude's name.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So, just a couple. One local news story. 2 local news stories.
But you won't hear anything about immigration status
in those stories.
And I tried to give this. I did give this story to Bill Malusian, Fox, and some other people directly. I directly gave it to them, and they won't run it because they have no way of making sure it's correct, because they can't get the information. So, okay, how did I get the information? Back to the gun store. One of the SWAT guys from somewhere came in one day, and it was a couple days later after they caught this dude. Said, "Hey, did you hear about that?" They all know what I'm doing. "Did you hear about this illegal alien that molested the SEALs kid?" And I said, "No. What are you talking about?" then he told me the story, and I'm friends with this guy. I like this guy. I would let this guy watch my children, right? Babysit my children. But
Yeah,
I'm not
that's a big endorsement.
I'm not just going to go from one person, even if it's my best friend. I'm not going to go to the public with something that I don't, I want to have a couple people. So about a month later, somebody from a federal organization calls me and says, he's in the bathroom, and he says, dude, everyone is losing their mind here. I need you to leak this story. And I knew immediately what he was talking about. He was talking about this. And then he told me the Guatemalan national and the counterfeit visa part. And then I went back to Bill Malusian and some others and said, I mean, I can't tell you who my sources are, but I guess you just got to believe me. And they won't do it because they could be sued for libel or slander if it's not true. So I get it, I guess. But
yeah, you know what story pops up? What's crazy? I put in Jose Confessor, illegal alien, and the only person who's reporting it like that is you. Your testimony in front of the house is what pops up. This is wild.
Which is crazy, may not mean anybody or anything to some people, but if you
they don't even call it rape. They don't even call it rape. San Diego County calls it sex with a minor, forced sex.
So what's even more crazy about this? The SEAL community is very tight. We live, San Diego. There,
right?
I feel like you throw a rock and hit a SEAL here. Some of the guys come out and help us with the border stuff sometimes. If we have a VIP coming out, I'll call some of them to hop in the truck, and they know how to work the radio. They know how to shoot a gun. That's all I need, and they know how to follow instructions for the most part. So I'm friends with some of these guys. So I call them and say, hey, what the hell's going on? Are you guys going to take care of this, or what are we doing? The Navy has kept this secret as well. So special operations and the Navy, it's never come out. This happened on base housing. I need to clarify this because it's confusing. When I was in the Army, base housing is all with inside the wall of the base, right? In San Diego, we got too many damn people in the military, and we ran out of base housing. So there will be base housing off post. And there's different communities in San Diego that a whole community will be just military guys, girls. So it's off base, but it's still the MPs or whatever the Navy calls them will patrol. So it's still federal land. This is why I'm confused. We don't do something about this, because the feds could say, hey, San Diego County, that's great. We really enjoy you. Not at all. But this happened on federal land. So go F yourself. We're going to deal with this. I don't know why we're not doing that.
Yeah, I typed the word in with Navy or base housing. Nothing.
So why is everyone keeping it so quiet? I don't understand. And then how do I get myself into this position where federal agents are leaking stuff to me and I'm not even a news? I'm very confused by all of it.
I want to show you a story that broke yesterday. I know I apologize. I didn't mention this, that I was going to bring this up to you. But this, I guess the vice president's home was attacked. J.D. Vance home attacker identified as trans daughter of Democrat donor surgeon. The suspect accused of smashing windows at Vice President J.D. Vance's Ohio home has been identified as Julia DeFore, a transgender woman. I think that means it's a man, formerly known as William DeFore, and daughter or son of two wealthy Democrat donors. This is the creature that attacked his home. And along those lines of people not reporting, if you type in this news story, every outlet will share with you the whole story except for one. And this outlet is, no surprise, CNN. CNN's the only one running with a picture of J.D. Vance.
Well, I don't get why we put up with this shit anymore.
They never mentioned that it's a trans person. They never mentioned that the person was batshit crazy. And that the person's been arrested before for violent attacks. It is. We're living in a weird world. Vindicate. Can we stop with the transgender woman BS? It's a fucking man. Fine. I apologize. I'm still trying to learn their words.
I don't even know what that means. Is it a man or woman?
Yeah.
It needs mental help is what it needs.
And that coincides with what you're saying. Like, hey, there's chunks of these stories that are important to tell. Like, this happened on federal land to a man who's given his life to protect the country. And that part of the story is not even being told. Hey, you know how like there's drug-free zones, and like if you get caught selling drug there, you get double the time. It should be like that if you there should be stuff like that if you attack military or police or firefighters or any first responders families too, do crimes against them. There should be some sort of doubling of the sentence.
I thought you were going to say tranny free zone.
Yeah, there should be that too. It's absolutely wild. How often do you go out in field work, Cory?
Every week, multiple times a week.
And is every outing bountiful? Is it like do you find a phone or a passport or something like you're like, wow, another one every time you go out?
I don't think we have ever gone out and not got something. There's so much stuff out there that for the next 20 years, people will be finding stuff.
So you'll go to a place, pick up all the stuff there, leave, come back a week later, and there'll be more evidence just strewn all over the ground again?
So that is not as prevalent as it used to be, but it was maybe 2 weeks ago. We went to a place. So we know the places that people are still coming through versus the places that we haven't combed through as well as we should have. Because, we're also setting up cameras and changing batteries and talking to the locals. So it's a lot of work. And then sometimes we won't have enough time to go actually look for the stuff. But 2 weeks ago, we found a Pakistani, I don't remember what the other one was, Turkish maybe? Pakistani and a Turkish passport in an area that we had picked through. It was right on the trail. There was no way we could have ever missed it in the 20 times before we've been in that area. So Pakistan, I believe, is on that SIA list. Turkey, there are definitely a lot of the Chinese went through Turkey. There are definitely bad people coming from Turkey, and they're still coming through.
Are the locals happy to have you, Cory? The locals that are out there, are you like basically, since they don't probably get a lot of attention from the police and stuff, people who own property on the border, are they ecstatic to have you?
Well, I hope everybody's happy to have me.
Yeah, of course.
Some people think it's a waste of time because they've tried to work with the government on this stuff and they've just been left in the dust. Some people are very happy. Actually, I'll ask your followers, viewers, one of the guys that helps us a lot, he had a medical issue and had to go down, take the ambulance down to the hospital. And while he was gone, he got robbed. His place got robbed, and they took a bunch of his tools and all kinds of stuff. So I made a GoFundMe for him. I'll post it today again.
Okay, and I'll put a link in the show notes.
Thank you. So I think most people, even the Border Patrol, even the other agencies that I work with, so the biggest problem in this space is ego. I try to, if someone doesn't like us there, doesn't want us there, I try not to take it personally. It's their property, right? Or it's their job. Maybe they've been doing this job forever and they think that we're just in their way. I get it. But for 4 years, I watched people do nothing. So you can not like me or be upset with me. But for 4 years, you did nothing. So I'm here and I'm not going anywhere. So you can learn to work around me or work with me.
Has the Border Patrol or the U.S. military rolled up on you guys before?
Oh, yeah.
And how do they respond?
There's a lot of new people now, so that's always interesting. But, these guys look like they're 12 years old. So Sometimes it's funny. Sometimes it goes, fine. Uh, One of the big problems, so people, after your show, people are going to reach out to me and say, "Hey, I want to help. Can I come out there with you?" And I can't, because now if I bring somebody out there that I don't know that well, and they do one stupid thing, we could lose a lot of these areas we're not supposed to be in. I have keys to all these gates, so one stupid thing could and I'm not saying somebody's going to do a stupid thing, but maybe you
Oh, I
just
hear
say
you.
thing to one of the locals and he's having a bad day, or one of the border patrol guys, they're having a bad day, then we're done. They don't have to give us access.
So first and foremost, the relationships you do have, it's important to preserve them and keep them clean. Yeah.
That's the most time consuming thing that I do, is maintain. I mean, I'm on the phone all damn day talking to, Washington, or different agents, or I woke up Thursday or Friday, I don't remember. Maybe it's Wednesday. Eli Crane called me. I'm laying in bed. Eli Crane, congressman, called.
Yep. Good, great guy. Great guy.
And I put myself in this position, so I take these calls, and it just takes up so much time. So I cannot let relationships go bad or cold. That's the most important thing that we do. So it's hard to be in the field and crunching the data and maintaining relationships at the same time, but we're making it work.
You ever see drones out there flying around?
Yes.
And those are bad guy drones doing surveillance, or good guy drones?
Both. We've seen drones come across from the south. There are ultralights that still come across from the south.
Manned ultralights.
Yeah, with narcotics. There are.
You've witnessed that?
Yes.
Wow.
There's a.
It's crazy. The brazenness is what's hard for me to. The reason why I say wow is because I'm like, oh shit, I've been driving for 30 seconds without my seatbelt. You know what I mean? What if a cop sees me? Or you know what I mean? Or shit, I don't have my headlights on. Or you know what I mean? I'm like, I don't want to get pulled over by the cops for something, like, you know what I mean? Oh, did I run that yellow?
We have different.
And these people are just flying in a fucking one-manned aircraft across the border, sitting down a dirt road and running with their drugs. I don't, you know what I mean? Like, I want to go home every night. I don't want to do anything illegal.
Not just. I won't get into this any more than what I'm about to say, but not just one-man aircraft, full aircraft still coming through.
Like, sorry, I know you said you won't get into it, but like a King Air landing on a strip. Wow.
Which does not seem possible post 9/11, and I did not believe it. An agency reached out to me and asked me if we knew anything, and then I won't get into any more than that. But
wow.
it still happens. People forget how vast the southern border, and we aren't. Nobody talks about the northern border. The same shit's going on up there, but people forget how vast. There's no way that you could just monitor all of the airspace, all of the land, all of the water. Now, we went into Venezuela and, in like 4 seconds and grabbed the dude and came out of there, right? So why can't we do stuff like this? It's just not. I mean, someday we'll figure out how much Venezuela costs, right? What it costs to do that entire operation. And it's going to be astronomical. But that was a very small group of very specialized, the most specialized people in the entire world that did that.
2,000 miles, by the way, the southern border. That's wild.
Mm-hmm. And there's still miles of it with no fence. And people will message me, what do you mean? I'll do a video. What do you mean there's no fence? Like, you live in San Diego. Just drive out there and look.
Yeah.
So we can't ask the 18-year-old Border Patrol agent to be a Delta Force, right? So without very specialized units along the border, it will never be secure. It will never be 100% secure. When I was in the Army, I was in Korea, and we would fly along the DMZ. The DMZ is not secure. People still come across. It's pretty rare. there's minefields, but it's not. I would say it's secure, but nothing will ever be 100% secure. Now, the way to secure the border at this point, from what I've seen and what we've witnessed, private contractors would have the border what I would call secure by the end of the week.
No shit.
Yes. And I've seen it happen with private contractors that are out here. They are, I don't want to get into that either. They're doing work with the wall building companies, but these guys are about my age. They're in the service. They were in some sort of special operations, and they don't have the same rules that the guys at the badges have.
The wall is there's 700 miles. The border wall currently covers 700 miles of the 2,000 mile U.S. Mexican border.
I didn't know that.
You think that you thought it was more or less?
I had no idea it was that. Yeah, I thought I never really thought. This
is also Google. Who knows if it's true what I'm saying?
I just focus in San Diego because that's all I can. I don't want to say control, but you know what I mean.
Yeah.
I mean, I would believe it. There's vast stretches in Arizona that I think it's the Tonopah. I might be wrong, but I think it's the Tonopah Indian Reservation where there's nothing.
I just saw this. Is there a 100-mile swath along the border that the federal government can enforce their laws on that
Yes.
supersede state laws? I wonder if that child rape was within that 100 miles.
Oh, by far.
Yeah. So that could be another loophole, by the way. I'm just seeing
I didn't think about that. I think that's more so what that comes from is I think it was a lawsuit, don't quote me, but I think it was a lawsuit regarding the checkpoints, because people were saying you can't have a checkpoint, you're a border patrol, get your ass back on the border. And then they ended up winning the lawsuit, and that's why we have the checkpoint that I get to go through every day, which drives me insane. If you can't catch them at the border, you got a problem.
There was I don't know if it happened, but there was something that Trump reenacted, some law from the 1800s that would allow what you're saying to happen out in the nation's oceans, that would allow people to get pirates or illegal things happening in the water. Do you know what I'm referencing?
Yeah, the letters of marque, and it was I think it was a congressman that was trying to pass that, but I think it's stupid, because what's stopping you from doing that in international waters right now?
Right. Okay. So you're saying something like that should be enacted and funded by the U.S. just along our land border?
Not like that.
No. Okay.
A little bit different. What I think is they should, Border Patrol, DHS should open up contracts for private military contractors, which is a testy subject for a lot of people, to come in and secure sections of the border. Which, now imagine most of these private military contractors, they're about my age. Most of them are some form of special operations or some sort of like infantrymen, stuff like that, riflemen. So they're going to come out there after having served, and then, hey, you get to protect your own country now. Like, what better job for these guys who have families now, want to make a little bit of money, relatively secure, relatively safe compared to other things they've done. And now the Border Patrol, who lost all of a lot of their good guys who just retired, or the guys in the middle in the middle of their careers who didn't want to do it because they didn't want to be part of that invasion, who left. Our ATF agent at the gun store was a Border Patrol agent. He went from Border Patrol to the ATF. That's worse in my book.
Yeah.
So now you have all new guys. Well, attach the new guys to the retired Green Beret team that you have at the border, and in 5 years you will have a border patrol full of highly capable people that can do this on their own. But it's not working right now. They lost too many good people, and there's a lot of laziness. I mean, I guess I don't hate to say it because I witness it every day. They're not being held to the standard that they should be held to, in my opinion.
How deep does the corruption go within is there? Well, I don't ever hear about it, but I assume you go to a hotel, and if you bring a stack of 20s, and the first 10 people you see, you hand a $20 bill. You pull up to a hotel and you tip the first 10 people you see. The rest of your stay there will be great. Those people will be like, "Oh, how are you doing?" They'll bring your kids water. They'll grab your car first at the valet. Life can be really good just with starting off the visit with $200 in 20s. Are there people being paid off like that in the U.S. government or along the border?
Yes.
Is it bad?
The card. So this goes back to what TGI is trying to do along the northern side of the border. So our side of the southern border, we're trying to win back the population. So the cartel owns both sides of the border, and the locals don't trust the federal government. So they need people. They need people they can trust. So what we try to do is bring, like Kai's GoFundMe that I made, right? I like Kai. He's become a friend, but at the same time, I'm helping him because he helps us. He gives us a ton of information. There's a lot. There's another guy who will go grab a big massive bag of dog food and bring it to him once a month. He's got a couple dogs. So that's what the government should be doing. They should be winning over the people at the border because the cartel owns both sides of the border with very little money. So they come to these guys and offer them money to look the other way.
Oh, right. Hey, here's $1,000. People will be trampling through your property. You're like, no problem.
Because you got to remember, this is very rural, very poor area.
Yeah. Yeah.
$1,000 would be a lot of money. They don't. They could do it with $100 bill. Just, hey, look over there for the next hour. Here's $100.
Yeah.
And then they start creating a relationship. It will take a very long time to foster relationships with all of the locals along the border to get them away from the cartel and back into their own country.
God, you make it seem so simple, and just because, and we know the resources are there because we're seeing all the fraud and money being wasted elsewhere in the country.
The fraud is, wait till they get to California. It's going to be so bad. But at the same time, I think it's very bad for TGI because there's no extra money going around right now. They're not funding things like this. So it's frustrating.
Did you see Newsom's chief of staff last year? Right, he fired her, and then she was busted by the feds for stealing money from the campaign.
Yes,
Newsom's chief of staff.
Well, the Democrats, that's what they do. When I testified in Congress, it was a field hearing, so they actually had it here in San Diego. They brought members of Congress here, and it's still the same. It's just not in Washington. No Democrats came to the hearing.
Oh, yeah, they just don't give a shit.
Mm-mm. I don't know how they can live like that.
Were you ever a Democrat?
No.
Oh, I wish I could say the same. I wish I could say the same. Absolutely nuts. Cory, is there anything that you want to share specifically?
There are so many people in this country. There's an entire underground intel community that tries to get things to the right people, and these are all people who did this their entire lives, and somehow we've found each other and we're working together to get information to the right people in a timely manner to prevent an attack or espionage, all of this stuff. And I had no idea. I'm in all of these different worlds now that I was like you drive down the road and you just see the massage parlor and you don't think anything of it, right?
Yeah.
Now I know that money is going back to China to be used against us. So I can't, you can't unsee these things. It's very difficult. The one thing, besides, go to the goteinitiative.org and check us out. I post most of my stuff on Instagram at the Cory Goat or at the Goat Initiative. But the one thing that I tell people now, there are so many bad people in this country that you guys don't even realize it. So Tulsi Gabbard and Joe Kent both testified and said that there are about 18,000 unknown terrorists within this country right now. I think that number is probably 50% less than what it should be.
Oh, okay. Gotcha.
So maybe don't go to Disneyland this year or next year. Maybe, you don't take that vacation where there's a lot of people. I'm not. And, after September 11th, a lot of people said, well, I'm not going to live like that. I'm not going to live in fear. Well, you have to now. We quite literally live in a different world where now you as the U.S. citizen are the minority with all of these bad actors around you. You have to think about that.
It's kind of like when we were kids, you remember it was don't do drugs, and now it's you can't do drugs because if you can't even, like, it's not like you did cocaine. It's like, hey, maybe you're going to end up doing some fentanyl and die.
Mm-hmm.
The Democrats give a shit. They want more of the same.
Okay, I've got some. Do we have a minute?
Please, I have plenty of time. I just have had 90 minutes of your time, so I have plenty of time.
I do have something that made jogged a memory. So something came out recently where a guy took the data of people in sanctuary cities and the way that these sanctuary cities vote. It was very interesting. It was on Twitter, and I don't, if I can find it, I'll send it to you. But what we hear a lot is, the Democrats are bringing these people in so they can vote. Well, I don't think that is as rampant as people think it is. I think it's horrible. I think it's bad, but I don't think it's as easy as just coming across and being able to vote. I think there's all kinds of things that are screwed up with our voting system. But if I'm right or wrong, it doesn't matter because they don't even need to vote. They just have to have a pulse. And this is really pissing me off with the Congress and the Senate and the president right now. When they do a census, when they conduct a census every 10 years, they do not differentiate between legal or illegal resident. So if you are here illegally, you are one, just as I am one. Now, the money or the congressional apportionment, so how they decide how many congressional seats are in each state, is based off of the census. So these people are voting just by having a heartbeat. So California are sanctuary states that have way more illegals get more congressional seats. So they have more buy-in. I don't know why we're not changing that yesterday. I did a video a couple months ago where I crunched the numbers and California would lose like 10 seats to red states. That's not exactly correct, but it was around 10 seats. If we only put legal residents on the census, but that's not just congressional seats, that's also money. Sanctuary, so let's just talk about San Diego. Well, if the federal funding that came to San Diego was only based on legal residents, Well, the hospitals wouldn't have any more damn money,
Wow.
which is great, because then what's San Diego going to have to do? I guess we don't want illegal aliens here anymore, because
Because those resources they're consuming in the healthcare system. Yeah, massive
so the
consumption.
budget for, I'm just making the numbers up, make it easy. The budget for 1.5 million people, but now you got to get rid of the 500,000 people, and you're only getting the money for 1 million people, but you still have 1.5 million people. Well, San Diego's going to have to figure that out real quick.
Going back to the no travel thing. So are we supposed to just stay home? No, you don't stay home. You take your kid to the local creek by your house and they swim there. Instead of going to the Grand Canyon, you find some other beautiful unknown place, maybe in Moab. It's a huge country. There's tons of places you can go. But what he's just saying is he thinks these hot spots like the Super Bowl, Disneyland, and the LA County Fair might not be the safest place for you.
I wouldn't go anywhere near LA County Fair. They're all soft targets. They're all gun-free zones.
We've never had a security team at church when I was growing up. Now we have a full team that trains for different scenarios. It's just a reality, and not enough people are trained to be prepared for. Going back to the congressional seats, basically 18%, I saw the stat the other day, 18% of the congressional seats in California are held by Republicans, even though more than 40% of the state is Republican. And then there's really fucked up spots like New Mexico, where 42% of the state, 32% of the state is Republican, 42% Democrat. And yet they have zero, because of the way the lines are drawn, they have zero Republicans in Congress. Zero.
Yeah. It's crazy.
It's funny, too, because all these people talk about wanting to live in a democracy. I mean, that's just, there's nothing more blatant than that we don't live in a democracy. Thank God we have a constitution, man. Holy shit. I hope it can withstand what's about to happen in New York. Are you seeing this lady who wants to seize property in New York that Mamdani appointed?
Yeah, people need to get out of New York yesterday.
She's saying that they're, and Mayor Adams said he doesn't think it's safe to raise Jewish kids in New York City anymore.
Everything is becoming insane. But the problem is, most of the country, most of the toxic white males are sitting and doing fucking nothing.
Yeah.
Like, it's time to stand up. COVID should have been a big wake up for a lot of people.
Should have been, I know.
During COVID, I started a gun store and quit my respiratory therapist job. So, the Border Patrol, they allowed this to happen because their pension and their family was more important than the country. Well, your kids are not going to have a country.
I don't think people realize how fast it's going to happen. They're saying, and I don't know if you saw Mamdani's speech, but he wants to get rid of the rugged individualism and bring the warmth collectivism. And if you start Googling around and look at who else has said that throughout history, from Hitler to Stalin to Lenin, I mean, he's not in a good cohort of people who use that the warmth of collectivism speech.
No.
It's pretty wild. I've been saying that to my Democrat friends. I get no response. I'm like, hey, just Google around collectivism, Nazis, collectivism, totalitarianism, collectivism, communism. Like, this isn't. He's not lying. He's there, and now she's saying this head of tenant housing that he's appointed is saying she's going to seize property. They're going to start seizing property because owning property is white supremacy.
Everything is white supremacy, right? Until you need somebody to rescue you in a situation.
Right.
Back to the church thing real quick.
Yeah, please.
California recently passed a law that makes it so your church can't have a security team with firearms.
No shit.
So my church is having the same problem. We're trying to figure out a workaround solution for it. So they're coming after you in every single way, and you're just sitting at home watching it. And do something. So now everyone's going to say, well, what do we do, right? It starts at the school board. Go to the school board and start yelling at everybody. I go to the school board meetings. There's a bunch of different districts here, right? I'll go sometimes. There'll be nobody there. They're just passing shit. And they're teaching your kids.
Wow. Wow, that's crazy. Churches can no longer rely on broad exemptions from licensing for their security personnel.
So it can't be called a trying to figure out gray areas for this. And so these churches don't have the churches that do have money have actual security teams. The ones that don't have that kind of money, an actual security team is very expensive. The ones that don't have money just have a bunch of guys with their concealed carry, and they train occasionally, but they won't be able to have, they won't be able to look like a security team. So they won't be able to have radios. They'll have to just pretend they're not a security team, that's not the solution.
The popular Christian school in my area, I've been told, they have a church on site. I've been told that there's at least a half dozen always men in the audience who are concealed carry or police officers.
Well, I bet it's way more than that.
Yeah. If they're saying, yeah. Well, hey, thank you for everything that you're doing. You're always welcome on the show to do updates. It's been an absolute pleasure to meet you. What you do is I'm glad someone's doing it. While I sit at home and raise my 3 little boys. And if there's anything I can do to support you, thank you so much.
I appreciate it. You're supporting me by having me on. So thank you very much.
Yeah, brother. Have a good day. Have a safe day, and hope to our paths cross again.
Sounds good. Thank you.
All right. Ciao.
Bye.
Wow. All right. See if I can say his name right. Cory Gautereaux, like the goat. Gautereaux. Sevan, did you figure out how to say his name? I'm just trying now. Gautereaux. That was painfully depressing. Thanks, Sevan. This was great, 7. Whoa. You get a good batch of MDMA, Mr. Weed. Whoa. I don't know when it's gonna happen. Soon, any day now. Souza wants to try this plan that I think is very smart. He wants to split the YouTube channel into half. Grow 2 YouTube channels. We're going to clone the YouTube channel so that shows like this will be on the Sevan podcast. What should we name the other channel? And then the other channel will be, Dense Updates, Rich Froning, CrossFit Games Update Show, Shut Up and Scribble, Daniel Brandon versus Andrew Hiller. Oh, we should go over and see what's going on there. Thank you. Money Talks, Bullshit Walks. Omar Cornejo. Gracias, amigo. 13 out of 10. What should we name the other channel? What am I doing here? What was I just going to look up? Damn, I was just going to look something up. What should we name the Weed loves to hear about the demise of America. Oh, great. CEO podcast. Well, this channel is gonna stay the same. We're just gonna start a podcast that's just strictly games content, where I'm not like the algorithm's getting all fucked up. The algorithm's getting fucked up. And what convinces me that it's getting Sevan Tree. It needs like the CrossFit centric show needs a name, and I don't think it can have the word CrossFit in it. I don't think it can have the word CrossFit in it. It's got to be like something like Fitness Verse or CF Verse or the Locker Room. That's the best name. That's the best. The Locker Room Talk. That's interesting. CEO Fit Podcast. Maybe it's maybe there is some. Just do CF. Just call it CF. Sevan's Fit Tube, Locker Room Media. Yeah, I like Locker Room Media. I really do like Locker Room Media. I wish Kayla was here so he could put up a poll. Oh, Hiller Fit, make it Hiller Fit 5.0. That would be fucking hilarious. Oh, that's what I was gonna look up. I was gonna look up Andrew Hiller's Instagram. Boy, yesterday was. The next Dense update's gonna be crazy. Let me see if Andrew's got. No, nothing new. He's scrapping with the DBE. Kind of fun. Stefan, in the past, I hate asking people what we should do. I get if I understand what you're saying, I totally get what you mean. You know, it's interesting. I kind of felt the position he's in. He said people are going to reach out to me and want to help and say, "How can I help?" That's the thing with helping people. You have to just help them, and then that's how you integrate in, right? It's not like the best example I could think of is like Jenny or Shut Up and Scribble or just what I've had or the Base Show. It's not it's like if you wanna work with Cory, it's like you have to basically be feeding him intel for, like, 6 months, and then finally he's like, "Man, this guy has value," and then you come in. It's really hard when an operation's in progress and someone comes in and you're like or Brad Asaraf doing the deep dive show. It's really hard to when you don't have resources, when you're not offering people jobs, when you don't have money to just be like, "Hey, do this." It's more like you need people who are showing initiative and they're doing something, and then you're like, yeah. If you want, we would love to get closer and get cozy with you. Oh, they are going at it again. CBG going at it again. When the stuff comes out about this guy, it's not going to be good, man. When the stuff comes out about the CBG guy, it's not going to be good. The amount of screenshots and testimonials that are coming forward is insane. I almost can't believe it's true, the stuff I'm saying. But there's this consistency. There's these communications that he's had with people that are there's a consistency of a used car salesman or a con artist. It's crazy the shit that's coming out that people are sending. And the stuff that he's saying to people, these passive aggressive type threats, it's wild. The CBG guy needs to be goobed. CBG sucks, dude. Yeah, where are they fighting again? On what Instagram? Taylor obliterated him yesterday. Obliterated him. It almost makes me think he's into some sort of weird kink because he got obliterated so hard and he almost seemed to be enjoying the obliteration. Yeah, it's not good. I don't think anyone no one cares about anyone getting their hustle on. But we all know that sugar causes cancer and all sorts of other chronic diseases. And to be peddling gummies in this space, you have to know you're going to get criticism. Hey, what's up, Jenny?
Yes.
Hey, what's up? Where are they brawling?
I just sent it to you in your messages. He posted a new reel this morning, the CBG guy. If you want to pull it up and play it.
There was this ridiculous post thing he said in Taylor's thing the other day. He was saying that this person basically should be nice to him because he bought them a steak. I'm like, oh my God, dude, did you really write that?
He listed all the things that he does for his people. I buy them steaks. I give them accommodations and Teams tickets. He's trying to appeal that anybody who might want to work for him in the future.
He sounds like a guy who buys whores, but I paid for a blowjob. It's crazy. It's crazy. The everything with him is transactional.
100%. He's a businessman.
Oh boy, and he just dragged his whole team into it. That's crazy. He tagged his whole team.
This is wild.
He's like a guy holding up a baby. It's like there's a live shooter, and instead of standing up to the shooter, he's holding up babies in front of him to protect himself. Wait, hold on.
Oh,
say that again before I play it. What? Say it again. Go ahead.
Oh, before you play it, when I first saw this pop up, I'm thinking, oh, this guy's going to offer money to find out who gave this information, thinking it's an outside person. But yet he tags all his athletes. Who in their right mind offers money to out their own athletes?
Let me
Play it,
I-
play it.
I've seen
It's crazy.
I've seen a dozen testimonials about you, Mr. CBD, and if I can get their names and I can split the money with them, 10 times 500 is 5,000. I would, if I can get their
The comments
consent.
are great.
Yeah. This is crazy.
Taylor says 10,000. I'll sing like a canary.
Smell a rat. It's come to my attention that people think CBG doesn't work with the games athletes we say we do. Now, we all know that this is untrue.
I mean, when he says he works with them, I mean, I think people believe that you pay them, if that's what you mean by work.
But there's a rat. There's an informant. Somebody out there telling people these lies.
Dude, it's not somebody. It's not somebody. Jenny, are you being contacted like crazy?
Like crazy.
Yeah, and the screenshots, dude, and then when you say stuff like you bought someone a steak so they should be nice to you, dude, it's pretty wild. Ani, he creeps me out. I followed the page a couple years ago. He DM'd me right away. I stopped following right away as well. He creeped me out too desperate. Yeah, that's the consensus. There is something really trippy about this cat.
And so who am I to not stick up for my own business and what we do? So this is $500 cash, okay? I want to know who the rat is, and I want to know in the next 24 hours who is saying to people that CBG doesn't work with their athletes.
This guy's a mob boss. This guy's like a nutrition mob boss. This is crazy.
I'm also going to tag every athlete that CBG works with in the comments below. You can reach out to any one of these athletes and they will tell you about the CBG program.
Oh boy. Oh boy.
Because you pay them.
Oh boy.
No problem. You have 24 hours.
Wow. This is fucking amazing. Well, hey, do you know the guy's name?
His real name is Justin Romaire. And it's like
Justin,
Romaine, but with an R.
Justin, I do want to tell you this. You are absolutely killing it. This is amazing. Guilt is a funny thing. I don't feel it in this case. Not one single person has come forth with any evidence. Come on, dude, you're giving the evidence. You've
Literally.
Come on, I had higher expectations from you. You're a teller of tales, a legendary dence that knows all before anyone else. I thought you could come through for me. Wow. And he's saying that because you wrote, this makes you look so guilty, man. The wars in the comment sections before were bad, but this is really bad. Oh,
Yeah.
man.
Like he thought he could, offer money and I'd give him a source.
He says this is a yeah, he's pressing everyone for sources. He's like, he really reminds me of Danielle Brandon. Do you know what it is? I think there's a group of people. It was funny. I was watching the movie Twins last night with Arnold Schwarzenegger, and Arnold
and Danny DeVito.
Yeah, and Arnold gives this talk to Danny DeVito, like, "Hey, man, you've been hurt your whole life, and you were raised in an environment where there's completely no trust and no love for you, and so what's happened to you is you're just an individual through and through. You don't trust anyone, and everything is about you." And I bet you him and Danielle share that in common, because Danielle had that an upbringing where she had to only rely on herself. And so basically it becomes this point where everyone's your enemy. You're smarter than this.
I can kind of relate, and I'm not like that on that level. Like, he's a businessman, and to me, I see this and I'm thinking, what are all those athletes thinking who he tagged in that? Are they now concerned that they're going to be outed? That one, if let's say hypothetically it is one of them who is an informant, like, and you're being paid by this guy to promote his company, are you going to want to promote his company?
Dent's not one of them.
Yeah, exactly.
Not one.
That's the other thing. It could be multiple. It could be all of them.
Not one of them. Wow. Yeah. Yeah. He's really turned a, what's it called, a molehill into a mountain.
Yes. It
And
could have just been done, but I think posting this was crazy.
and I think, however, he's been operating has made him very successful. But it works behind closed doors, and when you're on the phone with people, it's not going to work in a public forum. He blocked me. I can't
100%.
even look him up on Instagram. Wow.
He's got a personal account too.
He dropped a $200 super chat on WOD Prep podcast last night just to insist that a list of his athletes do in fact follow his nutrition spec recs. Seems panicked a bit.
Yeah, but only one of the people he tagged in that post actually came to the comment section to defend it. Like, they don't want to be involved. Don't drag them through it. And now he's essentially doing that.
Yeah, pulling them into it was pretty crazy. Well, he
Yeah.
probably sees them as employees because he pays them.
Right.
And so
He bought a mistake. They owe him.
Yes. So he gives Danielle Brandon $100,000 a year. You know what? I'm making that number up. That number's not true. But then
Yeah.
part of that is you have to stand as a shield for him.
She posted actually to her story today, basically saying back on CBG for 3 days with a picture of her food.
For 3 days?
Yeah. So like I'm guessing she, on the off season, she probably doesn't track or doesn't care what she eats. So then now that she's back on track it says 3
So it's
days.
kind of the 1980s mentality of eating. For a long time there was like, I'm on a diet. And then the conventional wisdom came around the 2000s. Like, hey dude, we're all on diets. Just choose the right diet. Diet isn't like something you do to lose weight. Your diet is what you use to fuel yourself all the time. And so he's kind of, he's back in that like 1980s thinking. He's basically like a diet program.
Yeah.
It's like,
and a lot of the people
Go ahead.
are saying what he does is not, a lot of people are saying that what he does is really not that much different than what a lot of them do. He just masks the tracking macros by calling it a blueprint. There's a
very notorious story, infamous story in the CrossFit space, and where Greg Amundsen, one of the original fire breather, came to Greg and he said, "What should I eat?" And Greg said, "You should do the zone." And so the next day, Greg Amundsen comes to Greg Glassman with a Tupperware container. And he said, "Hey, can you just draw lines in the Tupperware container and tell me to the size of where I'm supposed to put the food?" And Greg goes, "No problem." And he drew a big line for protein and then a smaller line for, vegetables and then a smaller line for fats or whatever, however he drew the lines. And when I was listening to what this guy does as he shits on what Greg developed, it sounds like he does the same thing. He tells people what to eat based on size proportions. And so you're right. He's not doing anything new. That's why I kind of don't understand why he's not, he's taking the WTF route. Like, hey, dude, you should have just come in and embraced it, come inside the fence. But he's deciding to stay outside the fence. And hey, if you're going to be outside the fence, you're going to get pelted.
Well, because it's popular to go against CrossFit right now, especially in social media. It's going to get you views. In his mind, that's what I think. Because he's essentially, that whole entire post was going against what Greg originally said, like crapping on, like saying it's old and outdated and it's the VHS of diets or something to that effect.
The doofus needs to move on to another industry. Actually, it's not the VHS of diets. It's even before that. It's the diets when no one had diabetes, no one had cancer, no one had glaucoma, like no one had coronary heart disease. The diet from a fucking 1,000 years ago.
Yeah, because Sour Patch Kids weren't around back then.
Yeah. And by the way, and that being stated, I have no problem if you're a games athlete and you need to suck down a fucking Sprite in between rounds to get calories. If Charlie Lawrence wants to consume 6,000 calories or 4,000 calories of carbs while he tries to break the world record for the 100-mile, like I'm fine with it. But don't act like I think he just flat out says villainizing sugar is over.
Yeah, and then he told some guy who's a team athlete in the comment section. He said maybe if you would have eaten more Twizzlers, you would have made the games.
I saw that. Hey, that by the way, that really showed his character there too. There's that, and there's a couple other stories going around that I really hope come out when he starts demeaning him for his inability to get to the games. I think
Yeah.
this guy made a post somewhere. Someone sent me that you should never comment on someone's body, and it's so funny because if you look at any of these athletes' photos when they do the thirst pics, it's full of emojis of fire and eggplants. And those are how are those not commenting on the bodies?
Yeah.
Average
If I see a
God,
fire
Pat,
emoji,
you are so stupid, dude. You are beyond stupid. You really are. You're a fucking lunchbox.
Oh, I hate that argument.
The average lifespan
Yeah.
1,000 years ago was 35 years old. Yeah, Pat. There was a tribe in somewhere in Arizona that we studied as fucking kids, and they built fires inside of their fucking teepees, and they all fucking died from smoke inhalation at a young age. Yeah, you're right. You dumbass.
Okay. Well, I'll let you go. I just wanted you to
Okay, thank you.
point you in the right direction for that. Yeah.
All right. What do you-
Fence update coming soon.
Oh, yeah, that one. This one's gonna be wild. That thumbnail you sent yesterday was amazing. Is that one up?
Yeah, that one's up. That one up this morning.
Oh, I can't wait to watch.
Yeah, the next one will be the.
What do you think
DB
about that
Britney
name?
stuff
What do you
and
think about
this.
that name for a new channel, The Locker Room?
Locker Room Media too. I like both.
Okay.
I really do.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. I'll keep you posted. I'll call you later today.
Okay. Sounds good.
Okay. Bye.
Bye.
Oh, there's a million things. This Pat Lange dude is fucking shaved off. When he shaves his head every morning, he slices off a fucking section of his brain too. The Cocker Room. Are the C and the L next to each other on the keyboard? No. That could be a good typo. I was eaten by a mountain lion. I should have had gummy bears. The Chalker Room. The Cocker Room. Speaking of which, I've never cleaned between the cracks where I put the black caulk on my gym floor. And the other day I got a brush and I got some spray, like fungal spray or something. And I cleaned those cracks out, and there was like it was so gratifying. It was so satisfying just watching like this deep residue of like dog hair that had built up in there for years, and it just cleaned all the cracks. And I would just take this brush, this really strong brush, and rub it through there. Just these mountains of shit would pile up, and then I took the leaf blower and blew it all out. I think I'm almost done. My family's in town. You guys wouldn't have a problem going to two different YouTube channels. I guess you just get notifications from both. Dude, you could have just Googled it yourself, dumbass. Pat. Still waiting for your answer to why everyone died at 50 from heart attacks in the 50s through 80s, and pretty much no one does today. Why don't you Google it yourself? What do you think the reason why is? What do you think the reason why is? Why don't you Google it? Why don't you find out what it is? Not one of the things is change in diet. Dumbass. Go ahead, everyone Google it. No, not nitrates. I'll give you a hint. There's 42% less smokers today than there were in the 50s through 80s. I guess. All right. Another fun day on the internets. Oh, that's funny. Someone said maybe we should offer $1,000 for people to come on here and tell stories. That's awesome. All right. Beach day, Sevy? No, it is well, actually I see this today. This is the first time like I've seen the sun in the morning. I'm looking out the window in a week. It's been basically raining here for a week. Not hard, not like to where anything got flooded, but it's been raining. I don't know what's going to happen today, but my family's in town. Pat says winning fast food and processed food for the win. Yep. Awesome, Pat. All right. Love you guys. I will see you. What's today? Today's Tuesday. Trash day. Take out the trash. I will see you guys tomorrow morning. Who do we have on tomorrow morning? Oh, we have Greg on tomorrow morning. And then Nicole Christensen on Thursday and Rich Froning. And then Friday, NorCal Classic with Ben and Blair. And then the CrossFit Games update show. Have a good day, Sevon. Maybe you'll admit that modern medicine saves lives someday. Modern medicine does save lives. There you go. Yes, smoking in Europe has declined significantly since the 60s. The prevalence of smoking has been decreasing across the continent primarily due to more restrictive regulations. Oh, please. Bye-bye.